My name is Ben Sayer. Welcome to this third video in the Perennial Genealogy video program. The work that you've done so far, as I've said before, is very important. The genealogy and family history that you have dug up and compiled is very important not only to the people who are living today, but the people coming after. You can continue to collect information and have fun doing that, but it's not going to mean a hill of beans to people unless they know about it and it's communicated to them and it's here when you're gone. So take the time to walk through these simple videos and do the little exercises in here. I break things up into tiny little pieces, and so you can just take a little chunk at a time. You don't have to even think about the big picture of where we're going with this. Just think about the little piece at a time, plugging it together, and in the end it's all going to wrap up and you'll be in a much better place, and your genealogy will outlast you. It will be perennial. It will come back again and again to generations and historians in the future. So let's get started. So there are basically two types of communication that we're going to focus on in this program, in this part of the program. And those may lead you to have other ideas about how and what you want to communicate. That's fine. Capture those. That's why you've got the notes there. These are thought starters, but I think they're the most important parts of the communication puzzle. And those two parts are what I call the forget-me-not piece, which is just a regular communication to a group of people, and perhaps multiple groups, but regular communication to those people that covers what you've done and how they can get access to it. You know, those different wishes that you have, that we're working through in this video series. And then the other type of communication that I'm talking about is providing updated information out to people, perhaps a register report or something like that, and who should get that information. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. First, I need you to go get your notes from the previous video, video 2, parts 1 and 2. You took notes on your wishes around access to your information. In this one, you're going to add notes, and so find a place that's comfortable, that you can sit for a while and be undisturbed. And take notes as you think about these things, and then other things that may occur to you after that. So the first thing I want you to think about is the forget-me-not communication. So again, this is probably a letter, could be an email, could be both, but you want to think about, based on your notes that you've taken already for your wishes about access to information, those feed what you're doing now. So think about your wishes around those things and what actually needs to go in that forget-me-not communication. So the basic idea here is that you're sending a letter. Let's say it's to a mailing list of family, and what you want to tell them is that is a reminder that, hey, I've done all this genealogical research, and even though I'm not doing it anymore, I have all this information available, and I've made it, and I've established a steward so that it can keep going. And here's how you can get copies of it. Here's how you can provide updates to it. Any of those access wishes that you had can potentially be part of your forget-me-not letter. So your forget-me-not letter is a communication to the recipients or the potential recipients of that information about your wishes, so that they know what's available and how to get access to it and how they can contribute, that sort of thing. So think about those things, and part of that thinking that you'll do will be about, well, who might be interested in that, right? So you may find that you have multiple forget-me-nots. There might be forget-me-nots for family, and there may be forget-me-nots for perhaps a local historical society. So you're just reminding them that you have information about certain things and how to contact the steward to get it. It could be other genealogists who are doing research on your surnames. You might want to establish some forget-me-not communications for them. So think about who might be interested in what you've done and what you would want to communicate to them periodically, and then make notes on that. And then the second part of what I want you to think about is the updates part. So you can skip this if you've decided that you don't want any updates made to the family history information that you've captured. But if you do want some level of updates captured, I'm going to go back to birth, marriage, death sort of things. You may want to collect that information, and if you do collect that information, then this communication is what of those updates you will communicate to whom and how. So for instance, one solution might be a register report. Say you send a family update every year, and you want your steward to do that, or perhaps you don't do it now and you want your steward to do it, or hopefully as a result of this, if you don't do it now, you will start to. But think about who are the people who you would want to provide that level of information, right? Because a forget-me-not was all about a high level, here's kind of what I have. This is very different. This is, I have this and I'm giving it to you periodically, right? Whether it's annually or whatever, 5 years, it could be anything that you want. But the point is, you're actually sending information to people and they're going to be receiving it. And even if they don't actively maintain it, they'll put it away, right? They'll put away. I've got family updates from my wife's side that my wife and her sister collected, even though they didn't do any genealogy. They still stored them away, and so it was an important thing. So that when I actually came out and started doing some research on her side, I had that wealth of information. That's what you want to provide for people. So think about what information you want to provide, and think about who would be on that list. Just start sketching out who's on that mailing list, just like the forget-me-not. Who's on the forget-me-not mailing lists and who's on the updates mailing lists. Take all those notes, and if you think about other kinds of communications that you want to do periodically, by all means jot down those notes and put those aside. What you'll find is that, like the last time, you might have ideas bubble up after you've done the little exercise. If so, that's great. Add those to the notes and put them aside. What we'll do in a future video is I'll walk you through actually taking those notes and putting them into a formal or informal, whatever forms of communication you decide to use, whether it's a boilerplate email or boilerplate letter or both, that sort of thing. So do those things and come back when the next video comes and take the next step, and before long your genealogy will be perennial.